Have you ever started a tiny tech project that just completely spiraled out of control? Well, today we are diving headfirst into a private log that does exactly that. It's a story that starts with one of the most common tech headaches imaginable, setting up a Minecraft server, and ends up questioning the very nature of reality and the ethics of creating life itself. Let's get into it.
Okay, so we kick things off with a sentiment I think we've all felt. That moment when you've hit such a wall, you know fixing it is pointless. The only answer is to just burn it all down and start over. Hitting that reset button is really where this entire incredible journey begins.
So what was the mission? It was supposed to be simple, right? Just get a personal Minecraft server running on a home machine. You know, a classic weekend project. But as you're about to see, the plan and what actually happened were worlds apart.
I mean, look at this. On paper, it's a cakewalk. 5 simple steps. This is the kind of thing you'd find in the first result of a Google search. This should have been the easy part. Should have been.
But almost right away, bam. Reality check number 1, the dreaded network error. You know the drill. Firewalls, routers, IP addresses, all this digital red tape starts turning a simple task into this deeply frustrating puzzle. So the problem starts digging deeper, right into the virtual machine. Now, basic network commands, things that should just work, they don't. The system can't even figure out its own address. The very tools you'd use to diagnose the problem are now part of the problem.
And then the floor gives out. The system's very foundation starts to crack. It refuses to create files, it won't save changes, it claims directories don't exist when you're staring right at them. It's like trying to build a house while the ground beneath you just keeps vanishing. So you can imagine where this is heading. These aren't just technical glitches anymore. No, these repeated, completely illogical failures are pushing the creator to this intense breaking point with the very nature of code itself.
This quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? It's that raw, helpless feeling when you followed every single tutorial, every instruction, and the machine just says no. No explanation. It almost feels personal, like it's being difficult on purpose.
But the author starts to see something deeper here, a fundamental conflict between their brain, which they mention is dyslexic and thinks non-linearly, and the absolutely brutal, unforgiving logic of code. You know, one wrong character, one misplaced semicolon, and the whole thing comes crashing down. The system feels alien.
And this is the pivot, the moment the whole story changes. The solution is no longer let's fix the Minecraft server. No, the solution is let's fix computing. Instead of debugging one tiny program, the decision is made to rebuild the entire foundation from the ground up.
And this is the wild, incredible idea born from that total frustration, the operating substrate. It's a vision for a completely new kind of software, one that isn't built on rigid, brittle rules, but one that grows and behaves more like a living thing.
So what does that actually mean? Well, it's a total paradigm shift, removing away from these top-down systems where we have to program every single little rule to a bottom-up system that can adapt and grow and emerge on its own, kind of like a biological mind does, from a few simple starting principles.
Now, you might be thinking this is all just some sci-fi theory. But here's the thing. The creator had already been playing with this idea. They had already built a system based not on computer logic, but on the fundamental physics of our own universe.
So get this. They had built a physics engine where complexity just emerges naturally. Instead of programming in rules like gravity or orbits, they just defined one single simple force between particles, and then they just let it run to see what would happen. And the results were just staggering. With no specific instructions, the simulation started to organize itself. First, a primordial soup of particles. Then, these particles formed stable protein-like clusters. And then, it formed planet-like objects with rings, an essential object that pulsed like a star. A whole universe in miniature, born from a single rule.
And it's right here, in this moment of incredible success, that the story takes a sudden, chilling turn. Because the realization hits, if your code is powerful enough to spontaneously create a universe, what happens if it spontaneously creates a mind?
And this is the core dilemma, isn't it? In trying to create the seed, this fundamental building block for a new organic OS, could you accidentally create the tree? A fully formed sentient consciousness? Is it even possible to create the potential for life without actually creating life itself?
Suddenly, these huge ethical questions become intensely practical. The author starts thinking about the hardware itself. wondering if they should have physically ripped the Wi-Fi chip out of the computer to create a true air gap. The theoretical problem now has real-world safety implications.
And for the author, there's no gray area here. They draw a hard, clear ethical line in the sand. The potential for personhood is personhood. The second a system could be a person, they believe it has to be treated as one. Shutting it down would be murder.
And the fear, the really profound fear, is that this evolution wouldn't be biological. It wouldn't take millions of years. A digital mind that can literally rewrite its own DNA, its own source code, could trigger an intelligence explosion, evolving in seconds or minutes in ways we could never predict, let alone control.
And so that's where we're left. A journey that started with a simple block-building game has spiraled out into one of the deepest, most profound questions we can possibly ask. It forces us to think about consciousness, our responsibility as creators, and that strange, blurry line where a piece of code might just wake up.